Students, welcome to Plus 2 Political Science class. Today, I will continue first term topic lesson 6, the legislature. Today, I will discuss day 5 topic. The topic is Rajya Sabha, powers and position. It covers your pages from 211 till 216. The objectives of the lesson are divided into 10 days. As I am proceeding with the topic, I will be telling you the topic and the pages. As I told you, today I will be discussing day 5 topic, that is the upper house of the Union Parliament, the Rajya Sabha powers and position. It covers your pages 211 till 216. Now I will discuss about the objectives of the day 5, means today's objectives. Before the discussion of these objectives, I would like to have a PK testing of last topic, that was powers and functions of Lok Sabha and Speaker of Lok Sabha. You attended the last lecture. Now I will have a PK testing. Students, I discussed a very important abbreviation with you, which is a form of ordinance. Now you tell me, what is POTO? POTO. Come on, tell me, what is the full form of POTO? POTO means Prevention of Terrorist Ordinance. And you know in which year was the POTO passed? POTO was passed in 2001 after the terrorist attack on Parliament. In Indian Parliament in December 2001, there was a terrorist attack. And afterwards, this ordinance became the Act. Now it was called POTA, P-O-T-A. The next question is, name the house that can pass vote of no confidence. There are two houses we know very well. And which house I discussed last time? You can easily guess. Yes, it is Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha can pass a vote of no confidence. Next question is, for how many days can Rajya Sabha keep money bill with it? As we know, money bill can be introduced only and only in the Lok Sabha. But after it is passed in the Lok Sabha, for how many days Rajya Sabha can keep it? Come on, tell me. Yes, Rajya Sabha cannot kill the money bill. It can keep only for 14 days, after which it is considered as automatically passed. Maybe it passes or not. The next question is, who are elected by Lok Sabha under its electoral powers? Yes, students, you have done. Lok Sabha enjoys various powers. Under its electoral powers, Lok Sabha elects whom? Yes, come on. Yes, the answer is Lok Sabha elects the President of India, the Vice President of India, Speaker of Lok Sabha and Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha. Now, my next question is, in which year was the state of Jammu and Kashmir converted into two union territories? Yes, come on, tell me, in which year was the state of Jammu and Kashmir converted into two union territories? Yes, the answer is the year 2019. It was converted into two union territories. Now my PK testing round is over. I will discuss today's topic, that is the upper house of Union Parliament. Under this, I will discuss various objectives. The objectives of today's topic are, first is introduction, then composition of Rajya Sabha, then methods of elections, qualifications of members, tenure of Rajya Sabha, sessions of Rajya Sabha, quorum for meetings, privileges of the members and chairman of the Rajya Sabha. And then under the powers of the Rajya Sabha, I will discuss various powers of Rajya Sabha like legislative powers, financial powers, executive powers, constitution amendment powers, then electoral powers, judicial powers, and there are some special powers enjoyed only and only by Rajya Sabha. Finally, I will talk about the position of the Rajya Sabha. Again, I am telling you, it covers your pages from 211 till 260. Now, before discussion of today's topic, I am going to discuss the topic related key terms with you. But students, you know that some terms you have already done. You know which are the terms already done? That is bankrupt, quorum, casting vote, ordinary bill, money bill, deadlock, office of profit, vote of no confidence, and adjournment motion. These terms have been already discussed with you. Now, today I will discuss some more terms which will come in this topic. Like, first term is ex officio chairman. I will start it with an example. Like, the Vice President of India is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Privileges of ex officio include the right to attend meetings, to make motions, to debate, and to vote in the Rajya Sabha. So, what does ex officio mean? So, I'll tell you. When someone holds one position because of the authority he or she has from another position. Yes, students, you know, the Vice President of India is ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha, means a person who is Vice President is automatically the chairman of Rajya Sabha. So, this way, when a person enjoys the second position automatically, it is called the ex officio. Next is convention. Now, for instance, it is convention laid by the first president, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, that no one can be the president of India more than twice, as the constitution is silent about it. You know that Indian constitution doesn't tell about how many times a person can be the president of India. So, constitution is silent. When Dr. Rajendra Prasad was appointed the first president of India, he enjoyed this term for 2 tenures. But afterwards, again, members of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, all were interested to appoint him the president for the third time. But he refused. He laid the convention. He said that no one can be the president of India more than twice. So it has become a convention. So what is a convention? A convention is a long established, informal and uncodified procedural agreement followed by the institutions of the state. Students, here I am using the word uncodified. Uncodified means which is not passed through a legislature, means parliament doesn't pass it. When Dr. Rajendra Prasad said no one can become the president of India more than twice, the parliament didn't approve it. It was not passed through parliament. Simply he said, and it became a convention. Often the word refers to unwritten customs shared throughout a community. The difference between a convention and a law is that laws are enforced by courts with legal sanctions following their breach, while conventions are enforced only by the political pressure. Yes, here you must understand the difference between law and convention. If someone disobeys the laws, it becomes a crime. There are courts to enforce the laws, but the courts don't interfere in the enforcement of the conventions. The person may enforce it or may not. It depends. It can be changed also later. The next term is supplementary questions. During question hour, if a member parliament seeks to ask a question urgently and cannot wait for the duration of notice period, then the member can do so provided it is accepted by the speaker. Such questions are called supplementary questions. Students, if you remember while talking about previous topic about the Lok Sabha, I told you that there is a question hour in the parliament in the Lok Sabha, that is the first hour of the day during the session of the legislature. Then that time, suppose the question hour is a time when the speaker gives the time to ask a question. But if a member seeks to ask a question urgently and cannot wait for the duration of the notice period, means a time is given by the speaker, means after 10 days or 15 days your turn will come to ask the question, this and that, like this. But the urgently asked question with the approval of the speaker is called the supplementary question. Next term is ordinance. Now, while taking the PK testing, I have discussed with you the example of POTO, that is Prevention of Terrorist Ordinance. When it was passed, it was ordinance, and later on it was approved by Parliament and it became an act. It was called POTA, POTA. So, what is an ordinance? An ordinance is a law promulgated by the government without the approval of the legislature. Yes, when it is announced, when it is framed, that time it is not approved by the legislature, by the president only it is announced. They enable the Indian government to take legal action immediately. An ordinance can be promulgated only when both the houses or either of the two houses of parliament is not in session, or when the state legislature is not in session. An ordinance can be issued only on those subjects on which the parliament can make laws. This is very important, that ordinance making power is with the head of the nation, that is President of India. Now, it doesn't mean that President may make an ordinance on any subject, maybe of union list, state list, or concurrent list. No, it is not like this. President can make ordinance only on the subjects given in the union list or the concurrent list. He cannot make any ordinance on the subject given in the state list. The next is Chief Election Commissioner. Students, I hope you are aware about Chief Election Commissioner. You must have heard about this term and you must be knowing about the name of the person who is at present the Chief Election Commissioner. You can see his picture also. Shri Sushil Chandra assumed office as the 24th Chief Election Commissioner of India on 13th April 2021. The Chief Election Commissioner of India heads the Election Commission of India. So there is a body that is called the Election Commission of India. It's a body constitutionally empowered to conduct free and fair elections to the national and state legislatures and of the president and vice president. Yes, when there are elections for the Union Parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and state and assembly elections, then the elections of president and vice president, these all are managed by the Chief Election Commissioner. Under his supervision, the body Election Commission manages all these elections. Next topic is Comptroller and Auditor General of India. On 7th August 2020, Mr. Girish Chandra Murmu has been appointed as the new Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Students, in short, this is called CAG, C-A-G. CAG is also word used for this post. So, who became the new Comptroller and Auditor General? Yes, you can see the picture. He is Mr. Girish Chandra Murmu, and he became on 7th August 2020. Now, we must know what is the function done by him. Comptroller and Auditor General of India is the apex authority responsible for external and internal audits of the expenses of the national and state governments. Yes, whatever national and state governments are receiving and expanding, whatever they are doing in financial matters, This all records are audited by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. The next key term is Attorney General of India. Current Attorney General is K.K. Venugopal. He was appointed by Ram Nath Kovind, the President of India. In the picture, you can see the President Ramnath Kovind and the present Attorney General of India, K.K. Venugopal. The President shall appoint a person who is qualified to be appointed as a judge of the Supreme Court to be Attorney General of India. Yes, you are clear now that a person who is qualified to be a judge of Supreme Court can only be appointed as the Attorney General of India. It shall be the duty of Attorney General to give advice to the Government of India upon such legal matters and to perform such other duties of legal character as may from time to time be referred or assigned to him by the President and to discharge the functions conferred on him. Yes, you see, he is appointed by the President of India and he is assigned the duties also by the President of India. And the duties are related to the legal matters. Okay. Then now I am going to start today's topic, that is Rajya Sabha powers and position. Yes, now I will first introduce the topic with an example. You see, in the flag of USA, there are 50 stars. Have you seen it? There are 50 stars representing the 50 states. You know, in USA, there are 50 states and there are 50 stars in the flag of USA. And moreover, there are 13 stripes representing the 13 original British colonies in USA. Yes, in the flag of USA, you can see the stripes, and if you count, these are 13 stripes, and 13 stripes symbolize the 13 original British colonies in USA. You know, when Columbus discovered America, later on, many Europeans tried to settle in the USA, and Britishers settled on the eastern coastal areas and they made their 13 colonies. Now, in the flag of USA, there are 13 stripes and 50 stars. So, USA has 50 states and all the states have equal representation in the upper house, and that is Senate. Regardless of size and population, each state sends 2 members in Senate and it has total 100 members. So it's very simple. In US, the upper house is called Senate, and as we know, there are total 50 states. So 50 into 2 makes 100. So there are total 100 members in the upper house of US. That is the US Senate. However, unlike the upper houses of the USA and Switzerland, the Indian states have not been given equal representation in the Rajya Sabha. But if you take the case of India, there is no equality of representation in the upper house, that is Rajya Sabha. So let's see how the Rajya Sabha members are taken out, how their number is decided. So these have been given representation on the basis of the size of their population. Yes, population is checked according to the size of the population, the number is given. The Rajya Sabha, that is the Council of States, is the upper house of the Union Parliament. It gives representation to the states of the Indian Union. I think so you already know that Rajya Sabha members comes directly from the states. Already those who are elected members of the state, they are sent to be the members of Rajya Sabha. People directly don't elect them. It is not directly elected house. It is indirectly elected house, and the members of the state assemblies who are already elected, then they further elect the members who will be the members of Rajya Sabha. Now I will talk about the composition. You know, Punjab has 7 members and Uttar Pradesh has 31 members in the Rajya Sabha. Already we have discussed that there is no equality of representation in the upper house of India as it is in the USA. There are 2 members from each state, means 15 to 2, that is 100. But in India, it's not like this. Punjab has 7 and Uttar Pradesh has 31. The number of members of each state in Rajya Sabha is according to the population of the state. Some states have only one member according to the population. And you can see in the map that some states are the northeastern states. They are Nagaland, Manipur, Tripura, Meghalaya, Sikkim, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, and Pondicherry even. So these are the northeastern states which have less population, and as we know, the upper house members are according to the population of the state. So they send only one member in the Rajya Sabha. Now, I will continue the topic composition. The Rajya Sabha can have a maximum strength of 250 members, out of which 238 are the representatives of the states and 12 members are nominated by the president. Means 238 comes from the states and 12 will not come directly from the states through the state assemblies. President himself will nominate them. The nominated members are from those persons who have achieved distinctions in the field of art, literature, science, sports, or social services. Means these are the categories on behalf of which the members are selected to be the members of Rajya Sabha. It's a sort of honoring them. The 238 members representing the states are elected by the state legislative assemblies working in the 28 states of India. The number of the members elected by each state legislative assembly differs from state to state, which depends upon the population of the state. Yes, students, already in example, I have discussed with you, Punjab sends 7 members and Uttar Pradesh sends 31 members and many states send only one member. So it depends upon the population of the state. Now I will discuss about the method of elections. I hope you know there are 2 types of elections, direct elections and indirect elections. When all adult citizens of India participate in the elections, then it is the direct election system, because you know that we all the citizens of India vote to the candidate of our choice. Obviously, it's a direct election system, but when our elected representatives elect someone, then it is indirect election system, because here we are not involved directly. Who are involved here? The members who are elected by us. They further elect the candidates who become the members of Rajya Sabha. The members of the Rajya Sabha are elected indirectly by the members of the state legislative assemblies. Thus, total 238 members are elected and the president nominates 12 members. Now, I will talk about the qualifications of the members, means what a person should have with him, ability, qualification to be the member of Rajya Sabha. Let us first talk about the age. The minimum age required to be the member of, now through I will discuss through an example. You see here many types of ages I have written here, because India is a democratic nation and we have a democratic form of government right from bottom to top. At the bottom level, there is a local government both at urban level and rural level. Here, a candidate can be, their minimum age required to be the candidate is 21 years. Yes, anyone who is of the 21 years can contest elections for urban or rural local government. Now, next comes the state level. So, members of Legislative Assembly and members of the Lok Sabha, that is lower house, the age required is 25 years. And members of Legislative Council and members of Rajya Sabha, that is upper house, the age required is 30 years. You see here in both the examples, lower house at the state level, that is Legislative Assembly, and lower house at the national level, that is Lok Sabha, 25 years, and the upper house at the state level, that is Legislative Council, and upper house at the national level, that is Rajya Sabha, the minimum age required is 30 years. Okay, and if the prime minister is member of Lok Sabha, he should be not less than 25 years. But if a prime minister is from the member of Rajya Sabha, then his age should not be less than 30 years. It depends from which house he is. Already we have 3 prime ministers who were members of Rajya Sabha. Otherwise, in routine, the prime ministers are from the Lok Sabha. But there were 3 prime ministers of India who were members of Rajya Sabha. I will discuss it later in this today's topic only, who were those 3 prime ministers. Okay. Then let us discuss about the age of the candidates. For to be the president and vice president, a person should be minimum age is 35 years. So these are the qualifications of regarding the age. So the constitution lays down that to be a member of Rajya Sabha, a person should be first of all citizen of India, and secondly above the age of 30 years. Then he should not hold any office of profit. Office of profit, I think so, I have discussed in detail this key term with you in the last lecture also, that is having government job. He should not hold any government job. And next is he should not be insane or bankrupt. Means it's not a market has declared him bankrupt. The court should have not declared him bankrupt, or the court should not have declared him insane. So these are the qualifications required to be the member of Rajya Sabha. Now let us talk about the sessions. This word is very much clear to you that session means, according to the Indian Constitution, there are 3 sessions of the legislature in the year. And which are these sessions? Budget session, which comes in the beginning of the year, that is budget comes in the month of February. Mostly it comes in the month of February. Budget session, then monsoon session in the time of monsoon. Only in India the monsoon comes in the month of July, so it's that time. And winter session, winter is in November, December. So according to months and the weather, the names are given. The President of India summons all the members for the sessions. So you see, this is very important. You must note it down that who summons the members for the session. That the answer is the President of India. So as we have a democratic state, so the works of the government are discussed and approved during the session. So you see what the members do when they meet during the session. They discuss the work of the government and approve it. The duration and beginning time of all the sessions is fixed. However, if due to any unwanted situation, a session is not summoned, the gap between the 2 sessions can't be more than 6 months. And this happened last year only in 2020 due to COVID, when the session could not be called, the monsoon session was not there. Then the winter session was started earlier, because the gap between 2 sessions, the 2 sessions last year were budget session and winter session. So the gap could not be more than 6 months. The President can summon the Rajya Sabha for a special session for getting approved an emergency declaration at a time when the Lok Sabha may stand dissolved. Students, this is very, very important. This is a special power of Rajya Sabha. You know that Lok Sabha is not a permanent house, but Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. When Lok Sabha is dissolved, means suppose there are fresh elections to be conducted, new government is to be formed, and the Lok Sabha is dissolved, and the emergency is declared or is to be approved by the legislature. No emergency can be declared for unlimited time. It must be approved by the legislature. So at that time, what the president will do? What does our constitution say? Our constitution say legislature can be any house. If Lok Sabha is not available, then that time the Rajya Sabha special session can be called for the approval of emergency. And it happened also in India once. Now I will talk about the tenure. Tenure means time period. The Rajya Sabha is a permanent house, so it is not subject to dissolution like Lok Sabha. One third of its members retire after every 2 years. So it means there is no tenure of Rajya Sabha. Means Rajya Sabha does not work for 2 year, 4 year, 6 year, 5 year, whatever. It is a permanent house. The members have tenure, that is 6 years. So elections are held for vacant seat. Means one third seats get vacant after every 2 years, and the elections are held for these seats. And where are the elections held? These are held in the concerned states. The members who leave the house and to the state to which they belong, the election will be in that state. Okay. The tenure of the members of Rajya Sabha is 6 years. The next is quorum for the meetings of the Rajya Sabha. This is the same as I have talked while talking about the quorum of Lok Sabha. And you must remember, the quorum for the meetings of the Rajya Sabha is 1/10 of its total members. So it is same as of Lok Sabha. There also it was 1/10, and in Rajya Sabha also 1/10. It means 1/10 of its members of the Rajya Sabha must be present for carrying out the proceedings of the House. You know what is the total strength of Rajya Sabha? I have already discussed with you. That is 250. And it's what is 1/10? Then 1/10 of 250. What does it make? It is 25 members. So minimum 25 members must be present to start the work of the house. Okay. Next is privileges of the members. Now, through an example, I will discuss it. We all the citizens of India enjoy the fundamental right, that is the freedom of speech and expression. But this freedom doesn't mean to speak or write anything against anyone. Yes, students, you must know that we all are to be in our limits. The Constitution provides us the fundamental right, or that is the freedom of speech and expression. But we are not to use it unnecessarily or creating a problem for others. We can't speak anything against anyone or write anything against anyone. There must be legal proof before saying or writing publicly anything against a person. Otherwise, legal action can be taken against us. Yes, it is at the social level we are not to say anything or write anything. At a private level means personally we can say, but not at the social level. Because if we talk at the social level, then legal action can be taken. The members of the Rajya Sabha can enjoy several privileges. They enjoy unrestricted freedom to express their views on the floor of the House. Yes, you must see the words floor of the House means they have freedom, unrestricted freedom to express their views. But this freedom is within the House, that is on the floor of the House. No legal action can be taken against them for anything said by them inside the House. Yes, students, we know that the right to freedom given by Constitution to us have some limits. We can't tell anything to anyone. But inside Rajya Sabha, the members enjoy this freedom and no legal action can be taken against them. This is the special privilege of the members of the legislature. Here we are talking only about the Rajya Sabha. Next is the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The vice president is the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. Yes, while talking about the ex officio key term, I discussed this thing with you. So, whosoever is the vice president becomes the chairman of the Rajya Sabha because it is called ex officio. He presides over the meetings and conducts its proceedings. Normally, he doesn't exercise his right to vote inside the house, but in case of tie, he exercises casting vote. Yes, casting vote, the term I discussed last time in the lecture while talking about the Lok Sabha, that speaker, when there is a tie, speaker also casts his casting vote. Here also is the same case that vice president, who is the chairman of the house, that is Rajya Sabha, in case of tie, he is to cast his vote, that is called the casting vote, because they are to break the tie. It's a tiebreaker vote. Okay. Now, example is if the President of India is not available due to death, resignation, medical reason, or foreign visit, then in that case, the Vice President acts as the President of India and the Deputy Chairman presides over the meetings. Yes, this can happen that suppose due to any reason president is not available on his seat, then who will work as the president of India? Yes, that time the vice president will act as the president of India. And who will work at the seat of the vice president? In that case, the deputy chairman will act as the preside over the meetings. So in Rajya Sabha, deputy chairman is also elected. You can see the picture of Venkaiah Naidu, who is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Now, I will talk about the powers and position of the Rajya Sabha. The first power is legislative power. Through an example, I will clear you. Ordinary bill. Example is Telangana Police Salaries Amendment Act 2015. This is an ordinary bill. The Rajya Sabha enjoys equal powers with the Lok Sabha in the matter of ordinary bill. An ordinary bill can be introduced in the Rajya Sabha also. Yes, we know very well that money bill cannot be introduced in the Rajya Sabha, but ordinary bill can be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. Here, the Rajya Sabha enjoys equal powers with the Lok Sabha. In case of deadlock over an ordinary bill, the matter is solved by the joint sitting of both the houses, and then the bill goes to the president for signature. Yes, I think you remember the deadlock also. Deadlock is the situation when suppose one house passes the bill and other house rejects the bill or suggests some changes and sends it back to the first house. But first house refuses to accept those changes. Then what is it? It is a situation of deadlock. Then this deadlock is solved by a joint sitting. In this sitting, both the houses sit together and pass the bill, and then the bill is sent to the president for his signatures. Next power of Rajya Sabha is financial powers. In financial matters, the Rajya Sabha plays a minor role. Yes, we already know this thing that Rajya Sabha doesn't enjoy the fully financial powers. The money bill can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha, and the Rajya Sabha can keep it only for the 14 days. I already told you the Rajya Sabha cannot kill the bill, means it cannot deny the bill or it cannot change the bill. Nothing can be done by the Rajya Sabha. It can't make any changes in the bill. As such, the Rajya Sabha can only delay the passing of the bill for the maximum period of 14 days. Yes, Rajya Sabha can delay, but delay also has some limit. What is that limit? That is only 14 days. After 14 days, either Rajya Sabha passes or refuses, whatever it is, but it is considered as passed by the Rajya Sabha, and then it will go to the president. Next is executive powers. Now, I will clear it through an example. While talking about the topic in previous slides, I told there are some prime ministers who were the members of Rajya Sabha. Yes, here it is the example. Yes, Dr. Manmohan Singh, H.D. Devegowda, I.K. Gujral. These were the prime ministers. When they became the prime ministers of India, they were members of the Rajya Sabha. They were not members of Lok Sabha. Now, the convention that the Prime Minister always belongs to Lok Sabha has been broken. Yes, while talking about the key term convention, I told it can be changed, it can be broken. If law is broken, the legal action will be taken. But if convention is broken, no action can be taken. So, convention is broken that Prime Minister always belongs to the Lok Sabha. No, Prime Minister may belong to any house, but he should be leader of majority party. Thus, a member of Rajya Sabha can also become the Prime Minister provided the majority party in the Lok Sabha adopts him as its leader. Yes, a majority party should be in the Lok Sabha. We can't say the majority party is in the Rajya Sabha and the same party is in minority in the Lok Sabha. No, it is not possible. The party should be majority in the Lok Sabha because Lok Sabha members are directly elected and that shows the democratic structure of India. So the working of this his government can be checked in the Lok Sabha through though he is a member of the Rajya Sabha. So you see, there are three examples of prime ministers who were members of Rajya Sabha and his working government was in Lok Sabha and it was checked there. The executive powers continue. The finance minister at present, Nirmala Sitharaman, is a member of Rajya Sabha. This year budget was introduced by her, but she is member of Rajya Sabha. Some of the ministers are also taken from Rajya Sabha. The Lok Sabha keeps a check on the working of the Council of Ministers by passing a vote of no confidence. Yes, vote of no confidence is the way by which the Lok Sabha checks the ruling party. Now, what does the Rajya Sabha do? The members of the Rajya Sabha can only check the ministers by seeking information regarding their work and criticizing the policies adopted by them. So these are the ways available to the members of Rajya Sabha to check the working of the government. So it comes under their executive powers. Now I will discuss the constitution amending powers. Any amendment bill can be introduced in any house of the parliament. It must be passed and approved by both the houses separately. Both the houses of parliament, as such, enjoy co equal powers in the matter of amendment. Yes, students, you can be asked in exams also. Write down the power which is enjoyed by both the houses of parliament. So, this is constitution amending power. It is enjoyed by both the houses equally. It can be introduced in any house, but it must be passed and approved by both the houses separately. There is no joint sitting in case of deadlock or in case of any disapproval. No, nothing like this. It must be approved by both the houses separately. Next comes the electoral powers. Now, again, I will talk with an example. The Vice President of India is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Like the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha also elects its deputy chairman by indirect election system. In this process, only elected members participate in the elections. 12 nominated members don't participate in the elections. Yes, students, while talking about the vice president, I told you if president is not available, then vice president will act as president. And that time, the deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha will perform the duties of the vice president. So, obviously, the house is to elect its deputy chairman and it comes under the electoral powers. The elected members only participate in these elections means 238 members. Nominated members will not participate. The elected members they participate in the elections of the President of India, the Vice President of India, the Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So these members are elected by the elected members of Rajya Sabha, that is total 238 members. Now, next type of powers of Rajya Sabha are, that is judicial powers. Now, you see the example. Normally, all types of cases are solved by the courts of India. But in some cases, the parliament acts as a court. The process that takes place is the impeachment process. All the cases are decided in the law courts, but here are examples when the parliament acts as a court, and in which matter it is the impeachment of president of India, vice president of India, then judges of Supreme Court, judges of High Court, comptroller and auditor general, attorney general of India. They all can be removed by the process of impeachment, and this is the judicial power of Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha, along with the Lok Sabha, can impeach the president on charges of violation of the constitution. Violation of constitution is the example. Otherwise, the constitution says the president is to work on aid and advice of the prime minister and his council of ministers. Suppose president works by his own choice, then it is against the constitution, then he will be impeached. That's why in India we call the president as a golden zero, because he is to work on the advice of the prime minister. He is also called the puppet president. Next is, it can pass a special address for causing the removal of a judge of the Supreme Court or High Court. The charges against the vice president can be leveled in the Rajya Sabha only. Yes, this is the thing that can be done only in the Rajya Sabha. That is the vice president, when he is to be removed, the charges must be leveled in the Rajya Sabha only. Now, I will talk about the special powers of Rajya Sabha. Means these powers are not enjoyed by the Lok Sabha. The example is the Indian services of engineers. The examples like irrigation services, power services, buildings and road services. These are the national level examination. Okay. The Indian Forest Service, the Indian Medical and Health Service. So these are the new All India services created by Rajya Sabha after 1950. So what happened in 1950? Tell me. It is created after 1950. So in 1950, our constitution was enforced on 26 January. So after this, Rajya Sabha created these new All India services. The three examples I have showed you. So these are the special powers of the Rajya Sabha. The constitution empowers the Rajya Sabha to create new All India services by passing a resolution with two-thirds majority in the national interest. Means these services can be created with two-thirds majority, that is 66% of votes. If they approve it, then these new All India services can be created. Then the Rajya Sabha can pass a resolution by two-thirds majority for declaring a subject of state list as a subject of national importance. It empowers the Union Parliament to legislate on that subject for a period of 1 year. Yes, this is also power of Rajya Sabha. Means it can pass a resolution with two-thirds majority. Any subject of state list, it can be declared by Rajya Sabha to be a subject of national importance, and in that case, the Union Parliament can legislate on such subject for 1 year. And in that case, it will not be for a particular state. It will be for complete India. When national legislature makes laws on any subject, that is applicable on complete India. Like the next example is in May 1991, a special 2 days session of the Rajya Sabha was called for getting approval of the extension of President's rule in Haryana. Yes, a special session was called. This had become necessary because of the delay that had occurred in the completion of the Lok Sabha election process due to the most tragic and unfortunate assassination of former Prime Minister Mr. Rajiv Gandhi. Here, Rajya Sabha had a session to shoulder the responsibility of Lok Sabha. So, students, this is an example which shows us where Rajya Sabha shoulders the responsibility of Lok Sabha. You see, the emergency was declared in Haryana and this was to be approved by Union Legislature. But Lok Sabha was not available because the elections were not able to be completed in time due to sudden death of our Prime Minister Mr. Rajiv Gandhi. So in that case, the what is our constitution telling us in that case? Then the Rajya Sabha special session was called. So it was approved by Rajya Sabha. In case an emergency is announced by the President, it needs the legislature approval. In case the Lok Sabha stands dissolved at that time, such a declaration then has to be approved by the Rajya Sabha. If the session is not going on, the President can call a special session of the Rajya Sabha for this purpose. Yes, the best example is example of Haryana in May 1991. The special session of Rajya Sabha was called by the President to approve the emergency in Haryana. The next is I will talk about the position of the Rajya Sabha. In some spheres, the Rajya Sabha enjoys equal powers with Lok Sabha. Which are those matters like the election of President and Vice President, impeachment powers, introduction of ordinary bill, constitution amending powers. So these are the matters in which the Rajya Sabha enjoys equal powers with Lok Sabha. But in an overall way, its role has been made less important than the lower house. Lower house means Lok Sabha. There is no denying the fact that the Rajya Sabha is a weak chamber in comparison with the Lok Sabha. We know it's a weak chamber as compared to the Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha has been given the responsibility to control the executive as well as the finances of the state. You know how it controls the executive, that is through question hour and zero hour and by passing a vote of no confidence that I have discussed in detail with you. And money bill can also be introduced only in the Lok Sabha. So these are the special powers of Lok Sabha. The reason behind is why Lok Sabha is given special powers, because this is the democratic house, because directly elected members are sitting there. So, despite the fact that the Rajya Sabha is a weak chamber, its place in the constitutional system continues to be important as a revising chamber of the Union Parliament as well as an institution acting as a link between the Union and the states. Yes, this is very, very important. Students, you must know that the importance of Rajya Sabha lies in the thing that it is a revising chamber of the Union Parliament. Means whatever is passed in the Lok Sabha, that is also to be passed in the Rajya Sabha. So Rajya Sabha is just a revising chamber. And secondly, it is a link between union and the states because the members of Rajya Sabha comes from the states. So it is acting as a link. Now, I will discuss what we have done today. And we, under the topic that is the upper house of the Union Parliament, I have discussed with you after the introduction of the topic. I have discussed with you the composition of Rajya Sabha, then methods of election, qualifications of members, tenure of the Rajya Sabha, sessions of Rajya Sabha, quorum for meetings, privileges of the members, and chairman of the Rajya Sabha. And under the powers of the Rajya Sabha, I have discussed various powers, that is legislative powers, financial powers, executive powers, constitution amendment powers, electoral powers, judicial powers, special powers. These are the 7 types of powers enjoyed by the Rajya Sabha. And finally, I have discussed with you the position of the Rajya Sabha. Again, I am telling you this covers your pages from 211 till 216. Now, I will tell you whatever topic I have discussed with you related to Rajya Sabha. The topic related questions here are: what is the total strength of Rajya Sabha and how is the number of members of each state decided? So, you are to tell the total strength of Rajya Sabha. That I think so, you know very well, that is 250, and elected are 238, nominated are 12. And the second part is how the number of members for each state is decided. And I have discussed with you, it is decided on the basis of population. It's not like USA where there is equality of representation. Two members are from each state, but in India it is on the basis of population. The next question is: how many members are nominated by the president for the membership of Rajya Sabha and why? The members who are nominated by president are 12 members, and the why they are nominated, they are just honoring them, and just to honor them this nomination is done. The next is: what are the qualifications required to be a member of Rajya Sabha? So I have discussed with you. First is citizen of India, then minimum age. I told you that is 30 years. Then he should not having any office of profit. He should not be bankrupt and he should not be insane and all. These are the qualifications. Then I told you, next question is: what is the tenure of Rajya Sabha and what is the tenure of the members of Rajya Sabha? So these are the two questions which are mixing with each other. Students, normally what happens, all the students confuse these questions. So that's why I have written these both together. You must know the difference. The first part is: what is the tenure of Rajya Sabha? So normally what happens, students write 6 years. No, beta. The tenure of Rajya Sabha is not 6 years. Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. And the second part is: what is the tenure of the members of Rajya Sabha? Here you will write it is a 6 years. Then you will write a little detail that one third of members retire after every 2 years. So this way this process goes on. Okay. Next is: who summons the sessions of parliament? This is President of India. And who presides over the meetings of Rajya Sabha? Rajya Sabha is presided over by the Vice President of India. And in case he is not available on his seat, then who will preside over? Come on, tell me. That is the Deputy Chairman. Yes. Next is question is: give an example to prove that the Rajya Sabha shoulders the responsibility of the Lok Sabha in case Lok Sabha is dissolved. Yes, I talked to you the example of Haryana, that when the emergency was declared in Haryana and it was to be approved by Parliament. You know, emergency is always declared first and later on it is to be approved by the Parliament, because emergency is declared by the President and later on it is to be approved. But when Lok Sabha was not available that time due to the elections could not be completed in time due to the sudden death of our Prime Minister, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, then the special session of Rajya Sabha was called by the President and to approve the emergency. This is how the Rajya Sabha shoulders the responsibility of the Lok Sabha. The next question is: what are the privileges of the members of Rajya Sabha? Here you will tell about the privileges of the members, means they have freedom of speech, means whatever they talk in the floor of the house, it no legal action can be taken against it. Then next question is: give the list of the prime ministers of India who were the members of Rajya Sabha at the time of appointment as a prime minister. You know, there were three prime ministers who were the members of Rajya Sabha. I hope you remember it very well, that Dr. Manmohan Singh, that H.D. Devagowda and I.K. Gujral. These were the three members who were the members of Rajya Sabha when they were appointed to be the Prime Minister of India. But when a person is appointed as a Prime Minister of India, he is to be leader of majority party in the Lok Sabha. The party should be in majority in the Lok Sabha. Okay, a leader can be from Rajya Sabha. Next is list the functions under which the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha enjoy equal powers. Yes, I have discussed with you that in the introduction of honorary bills, then in the constitution amendment. So I have discussed with you all the functions that Rajya Sabha enjoys equally with the Lok Sabha, even the elections of president, vice president, and impeachment also. So these are the matters where the both houses enjoy equal powers. Next is list the special powers of Rajya Sabha which are not enjoyed by Lok Sabha. Yes, here you are to tell special powers. These are the creating new All India services, and secondly, the special power is to bring the to work on the subject given in the state list, and to if it is of the national importance now, and only for 1 year the Union Parliament can legislate on it. It's not able to work it permanently on it. But then next is, how can you say that the Rajya Sabha is not a superfluous house? Give arguments in its favor. Yes, Rajya Sabha, we have seen in the complete discussion that Lok Sabha enjoys more powers and having better status than the Rajya Sabha, but it doesn't mean that it's a superfluous house. It is having some own importance. Like only Rajya Sabha can create new All India services. Only Rajya Sabha can, if it feels the subject of state list is of national importance, it can bring the and work on that subject of the state list. And it is a house which works as a link between the union and the state. So these are the things which tell us that Rajya Sabha is not a superfluous house. So students, today I have discussed the topic in detail with you. Now you will watch the video again and do the snap homework questions. Now tomorrow I will continue with the next topic. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.